This might sound misogynistic, but I believe women resemble children a lot in the way that they should be cared for, loved, and not taken seriously. Women like attention, drama, and drama that gives them attention. My friends consider me a professional at handling women because I always know the right thing to say and when to say it. So they would come to me for advice. And honestly, I loved sharing my wisdom with all the inexperienced men out there. I had cracked the girl code and achieved nirvana. LOL. To me, it was the satisfaction that I got after getting what I wanted. It was also about putting my skills to use and knowing that I still got it. It was never really a big deal for me, but it was starting to become one the moment she started asking me deep and serious questions that involved knowing how I felt about commitment. Before then, the word commitment was one that felt wrong to associate with myself. It started to become a really big deal when her cousin, who was my really good friend, told me how she had been hurt a lot in her previous relationships and advised me not to proceed if I wasn't willing to date her for real. There were many girls, actually, there are many girls who think they are dating me. Now, you might think I am a jerk, but it's not my fault that they assume that after a little flirting. It was not my problem that I wasn't into them as they were to me. But that was before I met Elena, the one that made me miserable, the one that made me incapable of just flirting. Every word that came out of me when I was with her was from the deepest part of my heart that I didn't know existed before then. The effect was similar to that of Wonder Woman's whip. Her sadness and pain had an unhealthy effect on me. Her smile made me happy, and seeing her sad tortured me so much that I wished there was a way for me to feel it in her stead. That was way before the week I spent my mornings distracted because I was nervous about meeting her mother, a request she had made just days before. I found myself reaching out to all my friends, seeking their counsel on what to say, what to avoid mentioning, the best actions to take, and the perfect gift to bring. Every phone ring was a lifeline, a brief moment of connection to ease my growing anxiety. The anticipation had me pacing the room, my thoughts consumed by the impending meeting, and my stomach tied in anxious knots. I was on a quest for guidance and reassurance. That was before I got annoyed at my mom for looking unimpressed after I showed her a picture of her on my phone, even though, if I were being truly honest, I knew deep in my heart that she wasn't that pretty, not even half as pretty as the other girls I have encountered. She was the most beautiful woman in my eyes, and I would war with anyone who saw otherwise. And that was long before I risked my job and skipped work or left early because she was to travel soon, and I felt every moment of my time was too precious doing anything other than being with her. The mere thought of her would send a rush of warmth through my chest, like a cozy blanket wrapping around me on a chilly winter night. She engulfed every aspect of my mind, and I found myself resembling her more and more every moment in the things I do and the way I do them, so much so that even my friends and family noticed the change, but I was clueless. So much for self awareness. And yes, did I mention that it was long before I briefly considered leaving home and moving to the city where she would stay? I had never been good at long distances, and one of the reasons was that my very foremost language is physical touch. So, how could I possibly go months without seeing her? But that was before the fear of her not being mine scared me more than whatever distance was between us. Elena was only going to be in town for a few weeks and then return to school when the semester resumed. It felt unfair. Time seemed to run quickly now that I had someone that I wanted to spend it all with. I had cleared everything that was possible to clear in my schedule so I could spend the day with her. There was a pretty high possibility that I would regret it later, but she was traveling the day after and I was sure I would regret not seeing her many times more. The pain of missing her in advance grew like a heavy weight on my chest, making each breath feel like an effort. For the first time, I started believing the universe was not on my side because everything else seemed to be working hard to keep us from meeting, and all our plans went down the drain. I was angry at myself, at her, and at everybody, but it was not anger I felt. It was sadness. It was pain. Or was it simply love? I contemplated these feelings on my way back home when the last of my plans also fell through, but right at that pivotal moment, halfway between my original destination and the familiar comforts of home, I made a spontaneous decision. Without a meticulously crafted blueprint or a logical rationale to guide me, I executed a graceful U turn, steering my course into the realm of uncertainty without clear reasoning, just because I knew that at that very moment, home was not where I wanted to be. As soon as she stood in front of me, my palms became clammy and my heart pounded so loudly in my chest that I feared she could hear it too. My body immediately leaned into hers without my permission and I hugged her. When our bodies touched in that embrace, it was as though time itself had slowed down. I could feel the softness of her skin against mine, and the scent of her perfume enveloped me, intoxicating my senses. I felt like my heart would burst the moment I let go, out of satisfaction, yearning, and longing. I've always prided myself on being a rational and level headed individual. Decisions came naturally to me, and I exuded a sense of strength and wisdom. I don't know what changed in me or when it did, but since our paths crossed, a remarkable transformation has taken place, one that contradicts the very essence of who I used to be. This person, who was desperately holding on to a person who needed to go, isn't me, because I used to be great. This was a real story. Every story I tell here is. If you're living a story of your own, I turn real stories into episodes like this one. The link is below. And if you're not ready to leave yet, there's another story waiting.